You are listening to Any Given Sunday, Australia.
Alrighty, joining Danny and myself now is a punter that is plying his trade at a top 20 college over in the States. He's coming out of our good mates at Pro Kick Australia. He's a former Brisbane Lion Academy player, which is huge for myself. He's number 12 at the Rebels, Mr. Fraser Masin, because we know Nonna's a huge fan, so we're going to say your name right, mate. How are you?
Hey guys, how are we? Thanks for having me on.
Is that your personal jersey in the background? Is that yours from the academy days?
That was, I think, a 2008 jersey, so that was definitely way before my time. Sadly.
That just shows that you're not a bandwagoner, at least. You were jumping on when we were no good in 2008, so...
No, mate. Born and raised in Brisbane, was born in 1981 for the first flag. Technically saw the first three, but, I have no recollection. And they've been pretty trash ever since, up until about 2019, so... It's been a weird couple of years, the Lions being good, and I've been enjoying every second of it.
Oh yeah, so have I. Except for the weekend, that wasn't ideal. But
that was tough. Yeah,
I was there for 01, 02, 03, so you're making me feel a little bit old that you were only just born.
Yeah, well, hopefully we have 3 in a row coming up soon, so I can feel old now.
Beautiful. We'll get straight into it, mate, because we do bring up the Lions Academy and stuff like that, so we won't tread on the waters too quickly. A question that I always like to start with, but the boys give me a bit of shit, is 3 people that you'd have at a dinner party just to kind of get an idea of what kind of guy you are.
I mean, it's the classic, it's a classic question. You got to put it forward.
It's good icebreaker.
3 people. See, it's tough. I just want to go 3 athletes straight off the bat, but I want to try and be a bit more diverse. You got to have, I think LeBron's got to be up there. Obviously. I think, I think John LeBron would just be a great bloke to have a beer with. Like, tell him it wouldn't be amazing. And then third guy, there's so many. What about an NFL player? Actually, something like a Joe Burrow. I think that'd be cool. So those 3, I think that'd be. Or actually, you know what? Make it interesting. Adam Sandler, Johnny Brown, and LeBron James.
Yeah, right.
That would be a rowdy dinner.
Yeah, and Sandler's quite the sports. He's good at basketball from what I've seen.
Yeah, so he could shoot it, and I think that'd be lots of fun.
I love the Jonathan Browns, definitely. That's the best answer I think we've had so far. So don't shake your head, Daddy. That is number 1 in my books. So we've already kind of covered it, but we'll go over it again. You said you're in the Lions Academy and you're born and raised in Brisbane. Yeah,
so pretty standard childhood. Born in Brisbane. Dad was from Victoria, so just into footy. And, as long as I can remember footy, I just was lucky enough around the age of 12 to be bigger than everyone else. So that's usually all it took to get in the Lions Academy back then. And played some good rep footy for Queensland, 15 and 16. And then, as I sort of came into my own, realised that I'm not a good runner. Can't run the long distance for a big bloke. So that's when footy, kind of, when I was 18, actually, you know what, this isn't going to work out for me. But no, there were a good couple of years there, playing some good footy. And once this is all over, whenever it's over, I look forward to getting back on the pitch with the Rezzies,
Playing a bit of twos. So you mentioned that you're a big bloke. Is that what kind of player were you when you were playing in? Because you played in the Queensland state team in 2016, 2017.
So both those times I was a ruckman. I was the 2 ruckmen, so the main good stuff. Just have sort of a rotation bench, forward line ruck, and sort of keep it like that. And King and Dennis was the main ruckman. We were good friends, and it was a blast those 2 years. And then it was such a weird thing because I'm pretty much the size of like a Paddy Cripps, a Marcus Bontempelli, and just this new footy, like those mids are so big and the rucks got even bigger. So I ended up as being way too small for the position. I'm only 194 centimeters, 6'4". So this day and age, you're not going to find a ruckman that tall. So the game went past me. That's what I'm going to tell my kids.
So if the game went past you, how long did it get past you, Tmac?
Well, I'm still playing, but I'm definitely not a ruckman. I wish I was 194 centimetres.
It has its advantages. It has its advantages, I'll tell you.
Yeah, so does being in the 170s. Don't you worry.
So you also played high school volleyball and basketball. Having such a versatile, like being such a versatile player, has that helped you go about moving to college and punting?
Absolutely. So I was so blessed to go to a high school that just offered sports galore out the window. I did everything up until about year 10, rugby, cricket, rowing, on top of those other sports, tennis. I was just such a, really supportive parents that supported that active lifestyle. And then once you get older, you really have to like hone in on three. Um, and then coming over here with that, just being able to relate, I think, as well to a lot of people because they have their varsity, whatever they call it, for volleyball and basketball, and not just saying, oh, he plays that weird Australian sport. Like, no, I can play basketball, I can play volleyball, like some of these sports you guys know. Trying to explain to them how cricket worked compared to baseball. That was a bit tricky. But definitely, no, just having that, just always being loving sport, involved in sport. I didn't care what the sport is. Like, I love it. And so that's why coming over here and once again, just finding a new love for a new sport, it was awesome to have that spark all over again.
And to get over there, you obviously got in contact with Pro Kick. How did that journey start?
Oh, mate, this is unbelievable. And I'll be grateful for Pro Kick for it. It was COVID year, so I knew about AFL. I knew AFL was a thing. So to go back even further, 2013, me and Dad watched The Blind Side with Michael Law, and
Wow.
we're like, this is weird. This is a weird sport, but we like it. And okay, we'll be Ravens fans now because he got drafted to the Ravens. Like, Super Bowl that year, I was like, sweet, I finally picked a good team because the Lions, I think, were the wooden spoon that year. Um, so, and me and my mates, as you do, we played Madden, didn't really know much. I knew the Ravens, and then COVID hit, and I'm sure as a lot of people did, spend hours on YouTube rabbit holes, and I came across uh, LSU. That was the Joe Burrow year that they went off, and so I come across LSU, and I'm just shocked. Like, this is college football. Like, this is university. Like, these are 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and they're playing in front of 100,000 every week and learning the ins and outs of that. And I was like, wow, that would be a perfect lifestyle. You just play sports, study, you know. And I didn't think much of it. And then a few months later, I see on Facebook, just do you want the college experience? Can you kick a ball? Yes, yes. Like, okay, well, this seems too good to be true. Like, so I hit them up, I hit Johnny up, and then literally like straight away, he's like, yeah, we got an assessment tomorrow. Like, go down there. It gives you this dodgy park, and you're like, okay, what have I got myself into? And you're kicking spirals, and then did that. And yeah, they're like, yeah, we'll have you on board. I think that was in February of 2021. And then May of 2021, I got a text from Johnny while at work. He's like, hey, you need to call coach from Ole Miss. Like, they want to talk to you. And I had a 7-minute conversation. I remember it very clearly. He's like, we want to offer you a scholarship here at Ole Miss. So now full circle, blindside, Michael Law playing for playing for Ole Miss, and now I like walk past his picture in jersey like every day in the locker room. So it's just it's a full circle, and it's amazing.
That's ridiculously full circle. Do you still follow the Ravens or?
I do. It's a bit harder at the moment just with college, and you're so into following college, and I check the scores, but I haven't been able to sit down and watch any games. I know they're not doing too well this year at the moment, so it's cool.
3-1.
I saw they lost on the weekend, or might have been the week before. I know they lost pretty badly. Yeah, so that's all I saw. And then one of my teammates from last year was on my punch shield, Tavius Robinson. He got drafted by them. He plays for them. And like, I'm still a fan. Like, I'm like, this is so cool. I know that bloke. Like, and he's on the Ravens. So
bloody oath. So when the time came and you're on the phone to presuming Coach Kiffin speaking, and like I said, the whole blindside and things like that, was it an easy decision to go with Ole Miss?
yeah, and my naivety and ignorance, it was just like I said, I learned about LSU and college football in that sense that I didn't realize how the recruiting process sort of worked. Like, I signed up to Pro Kick kind of with the mindset like, oh yeah, like you're going to send me to 100,000 school. Like, obviously, like that's all there is.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that there were levels to it. There was, FCS, FBS, there were different divisions in FBS. And so I was probably actually sounding like a bit of an arsehole on the phone. He was like, he was very like, hey, we want to offer you to play here at the University of Mississippi. I was like, yeah, cool. Sounds good. Like, I'm in. Yeah. Like I was just expecting it. And then, once I started to learn about SEC is like SEC, like kids here, like it's life changing if they get a scholarship to the SEC. And so now, in retrospect, I'm extremely grateful, and I was very lucky, and just very grateful.
It doesn't help, sorry, Danny, that your only reference was The Blind Side, where they literally had coaches coming in to say, look, we want you at this school.
Exactly. Well, I was just so like, just like, yeah, you sure you want me? Like, I'm down. Like, yeah, cool. I'll see you there.
Jump on a plane. Cool, I'm coming.
Yeah, it was that simple.
We always talk about with like a lot of the college players that we get on, just like the comparison of, college sport over there compared to any sport essentially that we play here at junior ranks, and it just doesn't even compare. Can you explain, like, just to everyone else what that experience is like?
It's just insane. Like, there's nothing else to it. I just played a game on the weekend, and I guarantee by the grand final, it's probably better than any final game in Australia ever, period. Like, it's just like every week our stadium holds 65,000, we're traveling to 100,000, and they sell out these games. Like, people are passionate about college football, and it just doesn't compare. Our facilities, we got a facility upgrade. I can guarantee you it's better than any AFL, NRL facilities. Like, it's just, it's hard to compare. It's just crazy, like how much money and passion is pumped into these college programs.
And how'd you go with moving to the other side of the world, leaving like your family and your friends behind?
Originally, it was tough. Like, so I got the scholarship in May, and I didn't have to get here till January. So, 6, 7 months to just sort of live it up, enjoy. Like, oh yeah, like I get to go to America. This is awesome. Until January starts to come, and you got to get your visa sorted, and you realize, oh, I've only got 20 days in Australia for who knows how long. So the start was a bit tough, and then getting here as well, just the culture shock in itself. I looked up the Mississippi weather in May, and they were heading into summer, and I saw it was hot, and I was like, oh, beautiful. Like, yeah, adjusting fine. Not realizing in January, the night before I flew out, I looked up the weather, and it was like -6 degrees. And I didn't bring a jumper. Like, I was bewildered. And so I'm like, I need to borrow Dad's jumper. Then I landed in Memphis, which is an hour north, freezing. I'm like, I've never seen minus weather before. And then they just dropped me off to this, little room, and they're like, oh, here, like, we'll come pick you up tomorrow. No bed sheets, no, just a suitcase. And then you're straight into training, which is off-season. Winter was like conditioning, early mornings in the cold, doing football. Like, I'm used to AFL conditioning, and they'd be doing these, 3-cone shuffles and in and outs, and it was just very confronting to all happen. So the first few weeks, but once I met friends, sort of developed a little network, got used to it. I love it here.
So what's a general day in the life for you look like between like your studies, your training, film?
It actually works out really well. So every day starts about the same. Got to be at the facility by 6:37ish. We'll eat breakfast with the team, and then we break out into meetings. Obviously, as a specialist, you don't have to meet as much because kickball left. If you didn't kickball left, then that's what you got to do next time. So we may watch. So today, for example, we watched our film from Saturday. I had 2 punts, so it wasn't a lot for me to watch. Then we have like a sort of a team meeting to go over what we did well as a team. We have special teams meeting every day just to work on the special team stuff. And then we'll head out to a practice. Today and Thursday are walkthroughs. Tuesday and Wednesday are full practices. So we do that, and then after practice, you get your recovery, and you get lunch, and then you got class, side class, 2 classes, chill, just that college sort of lifestyle. and then head back home. So it's a bit like clockwork, but I love it. It's a very nice lifestyle to be living.
What are you studying?
Um, I'm doing great question actually. It's
I don't know.
they put me in general studies. It's like a bachelor of multiple disciplinary studies. So I've studied everything, like sociology class here, a bio class there, a writing class here, theater classes, music classes. It's been fun, but definitely is. It's interesting. And then I graduate in December, so I get to walk away with a degree, which will be lots of fun.
So did you not have a choice of what you were studying? Because you said they put you in general studies.
Yeah, well, I think because the way it worked, coming over with I studied 2 years at QUT in Australia. So the way that worked with NCAA eligibility, they took 2 years off. But then our academic team we have here is phenomenal. So what I kind of thought was going to happen, um, I'd do 2 years of a degree and just not finish it, which was silly to think at the time. But they're amazing. They transferred all my credits from QT, and so I've already done half the degree just by showing up. And I just had to fill in all the little stuff, and yeah. So I think that's why I had to do that, just so I could get something, which I was very happy for. I could walk away and put that on my resume. Degree's a degree. Study.
Hmm. Yeah, a couple of the guys I've spoken to, especially going forward, when you say, "Oh, yeah, I've got a degree from Old Miss," it kind of stands out a little bit more than saying I've
Yeah,
got one at QT.
exactly. Like question in the interview. That's what happens.
Brilliant. So you're already kind of gone through it, and for those that don't really understand how big this, college football is, I was going through your socials yesterday and looking at the training facilities, the indoor training facility that Old Miss has got. So when you're complaining about training in the minus degrees, I don't really feel sorry for you, mate, because it looked incredible in there. But we'll take you back. So you get through your first spring training and you get your first start against Troy last year in week 1. You played pretty well. There was 3 punts, 2 of them inside the 20, which is huge, and you got the win. How was that feeling, just getting that first, like walking out for the first time and getting that first game under your belt?
Well, it was actually really interesting because June, July, was a big working, off season sort of ground running, lifting, and I had a lot of stretching. That was our coach at the time was big on stretching. Just nervous and excited to play well. And then first day of fall camp, I sprained my ACL.
Oof.
I think I overstretched and it was too flexible, and so my leg just extended too far. The trainers here, the physio, said they've never seen anything like it. So I was actually out for all of fall camp, and we didn't have another punter on the roster, so there was a bit of a panic there. They were trying to find anyone they could as close to the season, and because they weren't sure if I was going to be able to make the first game, but my family and my girlfriend coming over from Australia for the first 4 games. And I was like, well, bloody, if they come over and play, I'm going to be absolutely wrecked. So I just did everything I could. And then that week was the first time I actually punted in a month. So going into that game, I was extremely nervous just because I was like, oh my God, I haven't done this. I haven't the full camp under my belt. All the things like an actual live rush coming into play, an actual crowd. And so to do that, the very first game, I was very happy. I can do this. Because at that point, I got the scholarship in May 2021, training, all the way through to September 2022, just for that moment. I was very happy that it played out the way it did.
Yeah, I love that you say bloody oath and you haven't lost your Australianisms yet. That's good. That's handy.
Well, I was actually just explaining to a guy today the word struth.
Struth.
And he didn't believe me. He's like, that's a made-up word. And I'm like, it's not. I promise you. I know it sounds weird, but yeah.
That's great. So how's it been being there? Are you the only Aussie on campus? Like not on campus, but
yeah. No, definitely on the team. Me and a Canadian guy, we're the only 2 international people, so Canada doesn't even really count. So
it's the same place.
So no, definitely do live in it. I will tell you that. going anywhere is always interesting. You know, you're just going to talk, and there's all of a sudden a conversation started. So that's good. And then there was a few other Aussies on campus on the track team. So there's about 5 of us in total. So it's good. We get together every now and then, and it's nice to sort of have that little Australian community away from home.
Yeah, perfect. All right, there's a couple of games that I do want to talk to you about that really do stand out looking back over your stats and things like that. So the first game that you played against LSU last year, and you've got on your socials that there's a note in your phone saying that I want to play at or I'm going to play at LSU. Is that right?
That's just another thing. Like, it might seem a bit silly, but it just blows my mind that the world can work that way. And like I said, when I first got into college football was through LSU, and I was just shocked. And then I found Pro Kick, and so I was like, I put in my notes. I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna go play here one day, like, and then to actually go and see it and play it and just be like, oh my god, like I'm doing this. It's just, and then play well as well, apart from one time. But the majority of the game, play well. It was just like, I still think about it. It was just a genuine dream come true. There's a shot I think I got on my Instagram where there was a timeout, a TV timeout. I think they threw a flag, and so I was just standing in the middle of the field, and I'm just like looking around. I'm just like, this is unbelievable. This is just amazing. Like, it came from like a little YouTube video, and I'm actually like here. It's just insane.
So that was the first time you played in front of 100,000. Well, that must have been loud.
It was. And people, you know, they tell you, oh, it's loud. LC's loud. I'm like, yeah. Have you heard the Gamma full capacity? 36,000. That's loud. And then you actually get in front of 100,000 drunk sevens. Yeah. I think there was one punt where I rolled right, kicked left, and I didn't see a bloke on my peripheral. And just as I kicked, I hear the whole crowd go, ooh. And I'm like, what? And I realized that I was half a second away from getting blocked. So just little things like that you just never experience back home.
And then the week after, you went down AT&M, and it was another 100,000.
Texas A&M.
No, Texas A&M, sorry.
Yeah.
Not AT. Texas A&M,
That was
another
more.
100,000. Like,
that was like 106,000. Like, just so casually on a. It wasn't like it's a big game, obviously, but it's not like it wasn't like this is 1 versus 2 or something. It was just they were ranked. I think we were ranked like 12 or something. So, and so they just pull out 105,000. And it was incredible. Once again, night game, so it was a bit more exciting. And yeah, it's truly incredible how much they can.
And the last one is a game that I got to actually watch on ESPN, and it was this week. You just mentioned how big of a game it was. It was against LSU again, and at home this time in front of 66,000. So it's come through as a record crowd for your stadium, and you get the win, and it was 104 points total. So incredible game, and I watched everyone rush the field at the end. Like, how did that feel when you were on the ground?
That was, and the rest of just sounds silly. That was definitely the top 2 moments of my life. And it's not number 2. That was just bloody. That just watching it like on the sideline is one thing, and then to be a part of it and like actually go out there and at least at home you feel comfortable, like it's chill. But then they announce, it's a record, and you're like, okay, well that's cool. And then it's just an offensive shootout, like 0 defense was played, and it was just. Watching that, it was incredible. Our team is just full of stars. Just watching these guys go off and watching what they do on a daily basis and how they conduct themselves, and then seeing the rewards of that. Like Jackson, quarterback, is just a dog. Like, he is just every day. He's getting around the team to see him play the way he did. Like, that was awesome. And then it's coming down to the final couple plays where, like, the pressure's off me. Like, I know I don't have to punt anymore, so I'm just enjoying it now. And then I look around and I see people with their legs over the railings, and I'm like, yeah, they're going to storm this. One, and then I think it took me like 45 minutes to get off the ground. Not that I was trying, I was actively enjoying it to the full capacity. And people running on and they're high-fiving me and hitting me, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I realized I'm a player. Like, I forgot. Like, I'm not a fan. Like, this is like, I'm on the team. And that was amazing. Taking selfies, putting helmets on kids and taking pictures of parents. Like, it was definitely running into everyone I know. That was just incredible. The euphoria. That was just unbelievable.
What's it been like playing under Coach Kiffin?
Oh, he's a blast. Yeah, he's probably not your traditional football coach. He's a bit anti punting. Not the biggest fan. He loves. I think we go for it on fourth down more than anyone else in the country. Uh, and he has a little inside joke. You know, he whenever he sees me, he likes to just call me the punter. He's like morning punter. So he's definitely funny, and he's good at his job. Like he knows how to win. He's been around football a long time. His dad is an NFL Hall of Fame, I think, or a Buccaneers. He's a defensive mastermind. So he's been around football a long time and knows it. And yeah, regardless of his position on punting, he's a good coach. He knows how to get the most out of his players. He knows what to expect. Yeah, I love him. He's a good guy.
You said you weren't too nervous because you didn't have to worry about punting, but you are the holder for the kick, and there was a point where you were down pretty late in the game. Were you worried that you're going to have to be out there holding and for a game-winning field goal or anything like that?
There was some discussion on the sideline, but I tried to just, brush it off. I was like, no, we'll be right. And that didn't come down to that. So,
yeah. Was it your running back, Judkins?
Mm.
Yeah, he had a massive game as well. And he ran over for the touchdown at the end. That must have been a bit of relief off the shoulders.
Oh, yeah. It was like just he scored the 2-point conversion and he had a wide receiver chance. He scored the final, and he's also just a dog. Like, he's incredible. And I think it wasn't even like they just threw it to him in the flat, and then he like shook 2 guys and ran in. And just that, oh my God, like we're in front now. It's like 30 seconds, like we good. And then Quinton went into the 2-point conversion. So yeah, just watching that point when you don't have to do anything anymore, too extravagant. You're just able to enjoy and soak it all in.
So you're currently sitting at 4-1. You're ranked 20. I don't think they've been updated the rankings yet. I'm sure you'll go down. But you got some huge games coming up. You got Auburn, like you mentioned before, Texas A&M. Doesn't matter if they're ranked or not. That's a huge game. Mississippi State. I'm presuming that's a little bit of a rivalry. And then you've got number 1 Georgia. Like, what are the hopes coming out of the season? You've got some huge games coming up.
Well, see, that game for us was definitely a make or break, like just from a confidence perspective. We lost against Bama last week, a game that once we should have won, and we had all the confidence. And then to bounce back and get the win against LSU, it was just massive. So next week, Arkansas at home should be good. And then we got the bye, so hopefully we can win next week and then really just head into because it's tricky. At Auburn, they held number 1 Georgia. They beat them only by a score. So going to Auburn is not going to be easy. And then obviously at Georgia, 2-time national champions, that's going to be 90,000 people. That's going to be tough. And then Mississippi State, they're having a shaky year, but they were having a shaky year last year, and they beat us at home. So it's just, and that rivalry game is different. Like, it's like origin. That's how I try to describe it to people. And so, yeah. So last year, they came and beat us at home by a point. So that's not a game you can overlook, and especially these things they ring cowbells, super annoying. So I'm not looking forward to going there. So it's going to be a tough road ahead.
So definitely a few tough games coming up. So what are your plans going forward? Because you said you're going to graduate this year. Are we looking towards the NFL for a potential punting career?
I mean, if they take me, I'm there for sure. Obviously you got to be realistic, and there's definitely guys who've had more than 2 years of experience. But we got a lady who communicates with the scouts, and she communicates to me, and it's definitely not impossible. There's definitely a possibility. I think for me personally, I just got to put my head down and get after it these last 6 or 7 games we have, and just put as much good film on tape as I can. And just hope for the best.
And then finally, will we see you back on Australian shores once your football career is all done and dusted?
Oh, for sure. I sat through a whole thing last year with the other international students about if you want to stay in America, like this is what you have to do. And it sounds impossible between the visas and getting citizenship, and it's almost like a lottery system just to stay and work in America. Obviously, if you make the NFL, they sponsor you, so it makes it a bit easier. But if you want to stay here and just be a citizen, it sounds like it's a good 6 or 7 year journey. And I love living in Australia. You know, who wouldn't go back and watch the footy again? I miss that.
Mm.
Um, so I think I'll definitely squeeze out as much good as I can in America because it is fun and I do enjoy being here. But yeah, definitely want to settle down in Australia.
Would you consider like the CFL, or now that the XFL and USFL done their merger, would you consider one of those? And do you also get sponsored out of that?
Of course. I don't know how their sponsorship works, and Canada would be a whole different, I think, probably easier being a Commonwealth country getting into. But at the end of the day, you know, you ask, what do you want to be when you're a child? And you say, I want to play footy. And it's not footy, but you're still getting paid to kick a ball. And, you know, my knees are already going and I'm 22. So I know this won't be around forever. So yeah, like my dad says, just, you know, squeeze as much juice out as you can out of the orange and get, you know, because I'm sure one day I'll be tucked in an office somewhere and I'll be like, oh, I wish I did that more. So definitely just trying to get the most out of it wherever it is. Even Europeans got a good league. So, you know, just wherever it takes me.
You're such an old man at 22, mate. It's another one I'm not feeling sorry for you about. But we've spoken to a few boys, Jameson especially up in Winnipeg. He loved it up in the CFL, so that's always a chance. And we've also got James at the Atlanta Falcons. He's a scout, so maybe we can get into his ear and let him know that a few good punters getting around.
The only thing about Canada is I don't know if I could do the cold. That is, it's fine at the moment, but later on in the year, it gets to, you know, playing in some 2 1 degree weather. That's a struggle. So definitely, kind of have to be, yeah, it would have to be a discussion.
What's the coldest you've played in so far?
I think we had a game in Arkansas last year where it got, I think, just -2, -3. And I kid you not, I had 2 leg sleeves on, 2 sets of tights, um, one compression shirt, and then like a cold compression shirt. I wore one of those ski masks,
Mm.
and I sat by the heater all day. Yeah, that was tough. Like Melbourne boys, you know, they experience cold a bit more, but coming from Brisbane, that was not. You know, and then the week before that we played Bama, and it got down to like 5 degrees, and I wasn't prepared. I was only just wearing a long sleeve. And I played awful. So I was like, oh my god, I can't cold. I got to be a bit more prepared this week. So yeah, it gets chilly down here.
Does it snow where you are? Mississippi?
I thought it did because there was all this white stuff on the ground, but then people told me that was ice. Apparently, there's a difference. So it's still yet to see snow.
I've heard punting in the snow, you're punting a brick pretty much. So I don't know if you want to be doing that.
Would not. I definitely do not want to be doing that. So we'll avoid it at all costs.
Nah, fair enough. All right, mate. That's pretty much what we've got planned for you. So can't thank you enough for giving up your time. It's late, well, not late-ish over there for you. We appreciate you giving up your time and coming to join us and let us know your journey. And hopefully, you know, it's not over and we'll see a few more games out of you.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you guys having me on. You got a good thing going here. I'm just grateful. Yeah, you're good blokes. So thanks for having a chat.
Oh, we try our best. Nah, thanks, mate. We'll definitely keep on top of you. I loved watching your game on the weekend, so hopefully there's a few more Ole Miss games on ESPN going forward. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I lucked out, which was good. So, thanks very much, mate.
Good.